Jerry Recco. Jerry is the play-by-play guy for Rutgers, also part of the morning show Boomer and Geo at WFAN. Jerry, I never thought ever that I would have you on to talk about Rutgers basketball on WIP, but here we are.
Me neither. Nice to talk to you, though, Spike. How are we doing?
Oh, good, man. Now, Jerry joins us from the links playing golf with your son right now. How are you shooting?
You know what? Better than I would have expected, and we've gotten and dodged the rain, so we're doing all right, doing okay.
And real quick, has WFAN fallen apart without me, or does it still stand?
We're doing okay like my golf game, but we do miss you, Spike, believe it or not. When you left, we were ready to hug you and punch you in the face at the same time.
Yeah, Jerry expressed he was mad at me. Yeah, with love.
He
has that effect on people, Jerry.
So I've heard.
So Jerry, it does play-by-play for Rutgers, as I mentioned, and watched as much Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey as possible. I guess just an overall question that a lot of people are asking as they talk about Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey, to have two potential top 3 picks and the team is as disappointing as they were. How do you look at their performance versus the team performance this year as sort of an explanation, or how does that even happen?
Yeah, I have been asked this question by 1,000 people, and I understand why it's asked. Steve Peichel's been asked this question, too. If you watch this team individually, there were outstanding efforts. I think the biggest answer and the best answer I would give you is health. There was a stretch in the season where things, first things first, as you know, these kids are 18 years old. So they were 2 true freshmen that were brought in to lead the way, knowing they were going to be NBA lottery picks. And I think when things were starting to come together, there were a couple of things that happened. One, Dylan Harper got some sort of an illness on the way to Indiana. And if you go back and look at that game, you will see Ace Bailey had a game for the ages. And Rutgers came up just short, but he was outstanding. And then as Dylan started feeling better, I think he rushed himself back, wasn't 100%. They lost a couple of games they probably shouldn't have. And then as things got going again, he had the ankle injury. And there's probably 10 games in there where the 2 of them were not at 100%. And it just, maybe they went, I'd have to look at it, but 3-7, 4-6. And it's a big part of why the season was disappointing. And there was also, I would tell you, 3 or 4 games in there they had no business losing late, missed shots, and it adds up to a disappointing season.
So everyone expects Dylan Harper to go 2. So the Sixers with the 3rd pick, a lot of the conversation has been about Ace Bailey, who I think probably is the most polarizing prospect that people talk about in the top 10. Having watched every game of his Rutgers career, what did you see from Ace Bailey?
Love him. Absolutely love him, and I think he's going to be a great pro. A couple of reasons why. One, I don't know what's going on with this whole height thing. I'm telling you, he's not 6'7". But let's say he is. All right, fine. The way he elevates over defenders and can get his shot when he needs it is remarkable. The biggest thing I would tell you, though, because the athleticism and the skill is unmatched, Spike, his love of basketball, and I've been doing this a long time, I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen a kid that smiles, laughs, jokes, and is the life of the locker room like he was. And I'll tell you, that's something that, forget the skill for a second. Just kind of replacing that infectious personality is going to be something that Rutgers is going to have to deal with. He eats, breathes and sleeps basketball. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I got close to him. I didn't. I talked to coaches, not as much the players, but I've been around him enough on the planes and the hotels and the team meals. He's a great kid who wants to work, wants to be coached. And as much as I'm not a Sixers fan, as you know, if you do take him, you are going to love this kid.
So Jerry, even though he's in New York, by the way, he's not a Sixers fan, also not a Knicks fan. Jerry is a Nets fan. Yeah,
that's tough.
Yeah.
Poor me.
How has that been for you up there? I hate all of your coworkers, and I'm not even there anymore with the Knicks stuff. It must be tough for you right now.
Oh, no, it's a blast having Boomer and Geo every morning ask me if the Knicks are still playing in the NBA, the Nets rather. It's tough, man. I mean, they took a shot, they swung and missed with Durant and Irving and that Harden trade. To this day, if you go back, you might even remember. I remember when they made that trade. I called into Carton Roberts. I was furious with that deal. I had no interest in James Harden, as I know you guys didn't enjoy his time either in Philly. But They had a chance. It didn't work out. Kevin Durant was a toe away from them advancing even further in the playoffs. But when you swing and miss that big, this is what you end up with. And so they're trying to rebuild it, but it is tough. I mean, in a Knick town right now where Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart are doing what they're doing and the Nets lose out on the draft lot, I mean, good Lord. It's tough. It is not easy.
Well, hopefully the Knicks blow this series. Back to Ace Bailey. So let me ask you this. If I put you in the position and I say, okay, what is Ace Bailey not good at? Like, what are his weaknesses? What does he need to work on?
So, to me, two things. I think he needs to bulk up, number one, and he needs to work on his defense. I mean, that's one thing that I think he would even tell you. He wasn't a great defender, but I would also tell you that Caleb McConnell, who I'm sure people are out there saying, who's that? He was a Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year for Rutgers, who his freshman year was not a great defender, and after a few years in with Steve Peichel and the staff, turned out to be one of the best in the conference. So I think, the fact that it was only 1 year and out, I do think hurts him, but it's also correctable. Defense, bulk up a little bit. Offensively, the kid's just skill. I would tell you, all jokes aside, if that's the plan and that's who the Sixers end up with, I would tell your audience, go look at the highlights of Rutgers at Indiana, Rutgers at Northwestern, Rutgers at Penn State, and you will be wowed by the skill level of this kid.
You got a comp for him, Jerry? We've heard Kevin Durant and we've heard some other guys. Whose sort of game does his remind you of at the NBA level?
I hate to take the easy way out, but that's it. I mean, when you watch the way he plays, the way he has his mid-range game, and I know the game's changing and it's all about the three-point shot, which makes me want to vomit as a basketball fan. But when you look at his mid-range game is so good. An elbow jumper, a baseline jumper is as good as in. He's got the step-back fadeaway jumper that he can just shoot over anybody. And the one I was telling you about before, which is so much fun to watch, is when he's got a guy up in his face, and he will literally just cradle the ball around his knees and then just elevate and shoot over him. And just drain these 20 and 22 and 23-foot shots. It's impressive. So Durant, again, easy way out because a lot of people have said it, but I think it's because it's true.
Okay. All right, Jerry. There is a chance that depending who ends up making the pick, whether it's the Spurs or otherwise, that Bailey goes 2 and Dylan Harper falls to 3 and the Sixers have an opportunity to take him. What did you see from Dylan Harper?
A guy that can take over a game. He is, when right and when healthy, he is a kid that will and can slash to the basket, create his own shot. I don't think he's as good with the jump shot as Ace was, clearly, but he can control a game. There's one game I would tell your fans to go watch, too, the highlights of the game in Atlanta. I forget the team that we went to go play. It was a bad loss for Rutgers. It was Ace's homecoming, and they were not going to let Ace beat them. And in the second half, down by like 18 points, Dylan basically said, give me the ball, and almost willed them to a win. He just makes everybody better. He's thick. He stands at 6'6". He's got good body size, plus the bloodlines are good with his dad, of course, and his brother, who's in the Pistons system, was a heck of a player, too. So I think if you end up with either of these two guys, you're in pretty good shape.
It's funny that you bring up the Pistons. I was going to say, does he remind you a little bit of Cade Cunningham? Harper?
Yeah, that's probably about right. I mean, the thing about that Dylan that gets overlooked sometimes to me is his toughness and his ability to finish in traffic. He's got this sneaky way of just being able to maneuver around the basket through literally 6-7 hands, and he can find his way to the window, and he spins that ball in better than, really in my 10 years of working at Rutgers, better than anybody I've seen. So, yeah, that's probably a good comp, but he's a different type of player, and he's ready for the moment for sure.
All right, Jerry. Well, we appreciate you taking a golf break to check in with us.
Seriously, yeah.
And
I would not have taken a golf break.
No, I could not have done that. So I appreciate you. And trust me, if we've ever been together on anything, the Knicks blowing this series will be my Christmas if it happens. So
I will tell you they might. Yeah. I actually think that they're going to bury Boston tonight. But that having been said, if I was a Knicks fan, I would genuinely be concerned about what's waiting for them, because I think Indiana, people overlook them. They play tough like the Pistons do, but I think they're a little more skilled than the Pistons are, and I think they're going to run into a buzzsaw in the finals.
Yeah, well, they beat them last year.
Yeah.
You know, the Pacers beat them last year. So.
Exactly. By the way, if they win that, you got Minnesota and Oklahoma City sitting there.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't even want the Knicks getting past this round. I don't need any more. So, all right, Jerry.
I got it.
Yep, we appreciate you, buddy. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Jerry.
All right, there he is, Jerry Recco.